Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Afternoon Tune. I'm your host, Josh, and with me is my two co-hosts.
It's your boy, Chayse.
And it's your boy, Nick.
So, in this episode, this is the third episode of Season 2, The Heiress, and it's directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, who also directed an episode in the first season. She directed the episode I wasn't too fond of in the first season. She directed the episode with the village, where you had to protect the village and everything like that. Wasn't too big of a fan of that episode myself. Thought it was one of the weaker episodes of season 1. So coming in this episode, I will say it is an improvement over the episode she did in season 1, The Sanctuary. I think it is pretty good, a pretty solid episode. Short too, it's only 36 minutes. Which is the benefit, I guess, of being on a streaming service, which you can dictate how long and how short you want your episodes to be, and whether the content serves it. So this one's only 36 minutes, so it's a quick watch. In this episode, it picks up right after the last episode, where we see the Mandalorian take the frog alien to her planet. There, she meets up with the frog woman's husband. The husband is the one that has information of where he could potentially find a Mandalorian. And he tells him of this bar where he can go to, where he can talk to some of the patrons there about potentially finding a Mandalorian, things of that nature. And when at the bar, you see that, he's asking for information, asking, has he seen anybody that looks like me in this type of armor before? The patron, the bartender, or the person who's serving him, says that, hey, I know of somebody, go down here to this place, and you'll find somebody that will know that particular information. So people are just playing hopscotch with just basically information of just a little piece by piece. I know a little bit of this, I know a little bit of that, maybe this guy or this other guy. So they're just doing a little bit of that. Because then the species of alien that he talks to is the calamari, things like that. So when he finally goes to this boat to get the other information, these guys ambush him, try to kill Baby Yoda, try to kill him in the instance, and then Mandalorians come and save him, and one of those Mandalorians is a big character from the Clone Wars animated show. I've watched a little bit of the Clone Wars animated show. I don't know about you guys. How familiar are you with the Clone Wars animated show?
I watched the entire series. I watched a lot of some of the best aspects of that show were when they were dealing with Mandalore. And this episode, it reintroduces a character to live action, Bo Katan, who is voiced in the show and played here in live action by Katie Sackhoff.
Yeah, Katie Sackhoff. And turns out the wrestler, a lot of people were speculating about her, like Sasha Banks. People were speculating maybe she'd be Sabrina Wren, who's from Rebels.
Yes, Sabine Wren, who's from Rebels, and by that show's timeline, the last person to hold the Darksaber.
Yeah. So turns out she wasn't that character in this. That was like the big speculation coming into this season, that she was that character. But it turns out she's just a regular Mandalorian, as far as we know. And Bo Katan, as Nick just said, big character from the Clone Wars show. A lot of history there. A lot of people, know that character. And they come, and one of the things they do is they take off their helmets, which basically is a sign to Pedro Pascal is that is not a real Mandalorian. Mandalorians never take their helmet off. But as far as we see from Bo Katan, because in Rebels and in Clone Wars, where you have the two Mandalorians, they do take their helmets off, all the time. You saw throughout that. And they said, the particular group that he was a part of are like very big religious zealots. That, they have a particular old way of tradition and everything.
Yeah, the group that Bo Katan was bringing up was called Death Watch, which is like this religious zealot group on Mandalore that wanted to bring them back to their traditional warrior culture. And Bo Katan was actually a lieutenant in Death Watch up until Darth Maul seized control of Mandalore.
So, of course, I mean, it's a shock to Pedro Pascal because he's somebody that this particular group saved his life when he was a child, raised him. He's been raised on like this is the way, and of how you're supposed to be a Mandalorian. This is particularly he's been taught his entire life. He's immediately rejecting them and flying off, and it's like, I'm not going to be associated with you. And then it comes another set piece where he gets ambushed by some more Calamaris, and they save his life again. The Mandalorians, led by Katie Sackhoff, Bo Katan character. And then that's when they finally sit down and ask for his help in taking this ship, which is a Imperial ship, in order to get weapons, in order so they can bring that back to the planet of the Mandalorians. So, what do you guys think what would you say are your overall impressions of the episode? How do you like the length of it being so short? Just general thoughts on it.
I personally wish it was a bit longer. I loved it, even though I haven't seen Clone Wars in a very long time. Like, I think I saw like maybe the first 2 seasons when they were airing on Cartoon Network. It was nice to see a character from the latter end of the show in this show and kind of give me context for what had happened in the back end of the Clone War. Bo Katan, and also learning like the sort of different sides of what a Mandalorian is. I thought that was interesting for anybody who hasn't seen the cartoon show. Now, I'm not gonna lie though, when I heard that their name was Calamari, I thought that was funny. I couldn't take it seriously. You know what Calamari is, right?
Yeah.
But I thought that they were interesting villain of the week, especially when you compare them to the other like aquatic species there, because I feel like is it like Star Wars lore that they always like fight each other or something like that? Like
like calamari and Mandalorians?
No, not Mandalorians, but there was like another aquatic species that lived there, and that a member of that species was helping the Mandalorian fix his ship in quotation marks. And I see a lot of like members of that species on the rebel side a lot. Like whenever they're like, I don't know any of their names.
Yeah, the most famous famous one is
like
Admiral Akbar. He's Mon Calamari.
Yeah. When he says, what does he say? I think it's a trap.
It's a trap.
Damn, bro, you fucked that all.
It's a trap.
It's a trap, bro. Damn.
Dude, it's like I am your father. He doesn't actually say that. It's just like a memory. He
just says it's a trap. That's all he says.
Okay. Okay.
Right, you watch Star Wars?
Chase. Hand in your goddamn nerd card right now.
There you go, nerds. I'm going back with the jocks, where we talk about basketball, football.
But the species that was fixing the Mandalorian ship, Pedro Pascal, that was a calamari. All of them were calamari.
All of them? I thought the people with the squid faces were something different, other than the people that were don't have the squid faces, kind of have like the weird side eye stuff going on.
I think those are all.
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked, so let's get back to like the meat of this episode.
Yeah. I'm cutting all of this. Let's actually get to the good stuff.
Yeah. So what good stuff did you like?
So
obviously Bo Katan. Learning little bits of like her backstory, and how Mandalore was. It's interesting. I like the lore of it. I think that like the farther the show has gone, the more it kind of has tied bits of the other source materials together. So I think that the route we're going with the show is interesting. I wanted to ask you guys about like the timeline though. Like, how long has it been since Clone Wars, dude?
I think
doesn't this take place after?
I think this is like maybe a couple years after Return of the Jedi.
Okay,
Yeah.
So how old is Bo Katan?
Like in her late 40s.
How old
I
is
think.
Ahsoka?
I think they're both like in their late 40s because I think at the end of Clone Wars, Ahsoka was like maybe 17, 18.
How old was Luke in Return of the Jedi?
He was like 24.
In his 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mid-
Yeah, because New Hope, I think he's like 20 years old.
Okay. So, because I'm like trying to mentally picture things as they happened, order.
Right.
And so it was 20 years after the Clone Wars, basically, around then.
Yeah.
Or 24, 25 to maybe 30 years. Okay. Okay. I didn't realize all that happened so quickly. Like the turnaround with the Empire and everything. That's interesting.
Well, this is also what, like maybe 6 months to maybe 6 years after the fall of the Empire, and the show is
Yeah.
about the anarchy that ensued after.
Yeah, so it says right here, it says the Mandalorian is set 5 years or so after the events of Return of the Jedi, fall of the Empire, and the rise of the New Republic. So it's about 5 years after the Return of the Jedi. Yeah, things like that. Nick, what about you? What do you take away from this episode? Likes, dislikes?
All right, so first off, from Bryce Dallas Howard, man, she has stepped her game up as a director, because this while it initially feels like a filler episode, the longer it went on, the more I could see the threads that they're laying for the rest of the season. Like one of Bo Katan's like main goals here is to like force a confrontation with Moff Gideon from last season, because we saw at the end of season 1, the last shot was Gideon holding the Darksaber, which is from the Clone Wars series, the Darksaber was the symbol of power in Mandalore. That was pretty much, if you hold this weapon, you're pretty much king. And that's how you can unite all the clans on Mandalore to fight for you. Setting up Din Djarin's search for Ahsoka Tano, who's finally being introduced, and laying groundwork for more of Mando's backstory, because he was essentially raised as a part of a religious cult and a terrorist group, and kind of like seeing the different sides of Mandalorian culture and addressing some of the like earlier inconsistencies, like, wait, why is this guy so insistent on like not taking his helmet off when we've seen Mandalorians throughout like Clone Wars, throughout Rebels, they've taken their helmets off as they please.
Right.
And as far as like introducing Bo Katan to live action, if you watched Clone Wars and Rebels, it's great fan service, but even if you hadn't, it's still a very cool character introduction.
Yeah, I think Katie Sackhoff, I mean, she's accustomed to doing this type of stuff. I mean, if you've seen her in Battlestar Galactica playing Starbuck, which is what I mainly know her from, watching that show. I mean, she's accustomed to doing sci-fi, being the badass type person. She's pretty much, accustomed to doing stuff like this before. And I think it was a good introduction with her, especially leading this small crew of Mandalorians. Basically, so I thought that was really good element.
And we don't often get to see a group of Mandalorians on the show work together. It's mostly just been the lone wolf, and it was really cool to see like them work as a unit, like and how the action scenes with the 4 of them are choreographed, and how like each one's using their own skill set, and that was really fun to see.
Yeah, and I love early on during their action scenes together. Mando, Jin. That's how you say his name, right?
Din Djarin.
Din Djarin.
Din Djarin. He's all kind of like awkward because he's never really worked another Mandalorian to this capacity. So he's kind of being carried for like a good portion of the episode by them. So it's time shows us who the real Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But what's I gonna ask?
The action sequence on the Imperial ship was really nice. Like you said, all of them working together as a team, as a unit. And to see, like, we see an appearance from Giancarlo Esposito's character, Moff.
Yeah, finally getting to my complaint from last week's episode. Like, are you really not going to follow up with that? And finally, 3 episodes in, we get something.
And the captain of that ship, a guy named Titus Wilver, who's a very good actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. I mean, he's a good character.
He's another guy. When you see him, you'll be like, "Oh, it's that guy."
Yeah. I mean, he's been everywhere. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff in his career. Sons of Anarchy, Bosch. He's been in a lot of stuff, and it's also good to see, like, okay, what is the Empire doing still now that it's fell? Like, what are their operations like? Who are the people still kind of running it? And you see Moff Gideon basically give the orders to him to be like, okay, well, they already infested the ship, time to just take it down. And him say, like, what was the line he said? The Imperial, long live the Empire.
Yeah, it's very like Nazi post World War II esque.
Yeah, stuff like that. So, and then he kills the other 2 people on board the ship. When the Mandalorians finally reach the ship, Bo Katan, she's asking him, where's the Darksaber? So that particular group is looking for the Darksaber, because it is a prized possession of Mandalore, of the Mandalorian people. It's a big thing to them. So, and he doesn't tell him, and he just commits suicide.
Yeah. He pretty much says, if you guys don't kill me, Gideon will, and then like takes a suicide pill.
Yeah, basically the space version of taking like
cyanide.
Cyanide. Yeah, basically the suicide is the space version of that.
That looks way more painful. He was like being electrocuted from the inside. That was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just rather just do the pill. Yeah, just get the foam out the mouth. I might as well do that. So when they complete their mission, Bo-Katan offers to, say like, hey, if you ever want to, stay with us, help do some more missions, things like that, you can. But he says, like, I have a mission to, that was given to me. And he takes his creed very seriously, his oaths very seriously. He's all in on this Mandalorian thing. Din Djarin, he's all about it. And he's like, hey, I have a mission to take this infant Baby Yoda to his people, to the Jedi. And Baby Yoda during all this time, he wasn't eating eggs. He wasn't committing genocide this time. And that was a big thing, you know what I mean? People saying cancel Baby Yoda. He's trying to, trying to eat people's eggs and shit like that.
Just shows you how disloyal the internet is. Last year, everyone was standing Baby Yoda. Now, cancel him.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that this time, and he was just hanging out. Mandy, he left him with the frog people. They took good care of him, you know what I mean?
Not gonna lie, I was a little worried for the frog people, like when he left them there. I was like half expecting that comes back and finds those 2 dead and all of their eggs eaten. I was half expecting that.
I was kind of a little nervous too.
Yeah. Just like force pushes the both of them away from the eggs.
And then just lifts all the eggs.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
He was still eyeing those eggs. He still was kind of, he was eyeing that shit hard. Yeah, so Yeah, so I was kind of expecting a little something, similar to that, but nothing happened. He was playing with the little tadpole, in the water and everything like that, playing with him, which was nice. So,
I'm happy with cute. I'm happy with how they handled that bit here and they did with the prior episode because it was too much.
It was a little...
Yeah, the comedy beats in this episode work a lot better than the last one.
Yeah. Like when the dude he's like a lower level like commander or whatever was telling them close the doors, and then realized that
we sealed them in the cargo control hold.
Different room.
Wait, where? The cargo.
Like,
so
why on earth would you seal them in the cargo control room? The cargo control room.
Wait, where?
While you're in the cargo room.
Where did you seal them in?
I agree. I think the humor in this episode worked better. I thought it was a much improvement over the last episode. Overall, I think this episode was an overall improvement over the last one. In a lot of aspects of it. And the big thing leaving off this episode was Bo Katan telling him about the Jedi Ahsoka Tano. So that's presumably where we're going to meet in the next episode, Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, hopefully there's not like 3 more episodes of filler before we finally get there. But with this show, I can't tell.
I wouldn't
anymore.
be surprised, but I really hope she. But don't be surprised if it's a filler travel episode.
But I mean, it's gonna be cool to see her like what they do with the makeup on her. See
very much a fan favorite, beloved character finally make her live action debut, and to be portrayed by an actress like Rosario Dawson. I can't wait, especially because when you add Ahsoka, there's potentially getting Tamir Morrison as Captain Rex from Clone Wars.
Yeah,
that'd be really interesting.
It's funny because the next episode is going to be directed by Carl Weathers. It says, which I'm surprised Dave Filoni isn't directing it. Since
Ahsoka is very much Ahsoka and Rex are very much his baby.
Yeah, I mean, because he was the main creative force. I mean, behind Rebels, behind Clone Wars. So I'm surprised he's not directing that episode. Carl Weathers is, but so I'm excited to see the next episode. See them. I hope they bring in Ahsoka Tano. Really excited to see what they do with that character, bringing in the live action. The first time the character will ever be in live action before. Any big negatives for you for this episode? Anyone?
Really? Mostly just the length of the episode. I felt like it was really short as 35 minutes. I kind of wish that this show was more consistent with the episode lengths. Like with this is a semi-filler episode, but this is also laying more groundwork for the rest of the season than the first 2 episodes. Even the first episode, I liked it, but it was still very much a side quest. The second episode was just filler. It didn't set up anything. And this, you're laying the groundwork for Ahsoka, you're laying Moff Gideon, Darksaber, all the threads that were promised at the end of season 1. And I kind of wish, like, for episodes like this, they would go like a full 45 or 50 minutes.
Yeah. Wow. Last episode was 6 minutes longer. This one kind of just.
I really wish that they swapped like the length of episodes for the type it is.
Yeah.
So what rating would you give it this episode?
This episode, I'd say it's 8 out of 10. It's definitely the my favorite of the season so far. The best for like laying groundwork for the season, getting into the more overall season arc. And it's cool seeing Din Djarin work with other Mandalorians and potentially lay more background for going into his history.
Yeah.
Chase?
Yeah, I have to give this a 8 out of 10 as well. It didn't blow me away, but it set a lot of good groundwork. Introduced me to a lot of lore that has even inspired me to finish Clone finally. Give that I'm gonna check that out. And it had good action and it had good comedy beats.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Compared
pretty much everything you could ask for.
Yeah, compared to Bryce Dallas Howard's last episode in this series, this is giant leap. This is giant improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I could say that's keeping it from a 9 or a 10 is that it just wasn't long enough to fully blow me out the park. I wish it was longer. Give me those 50 to an hour length episodes, guy.
At least 40-something minutes. At least 45.
At least like a solid network,
sound.
44 minutes.
Yeah, you got 8 episodes. You got a lot of stuff to still get through. You know? Give us longer episodes.
For me, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Thought it was a good episode, solid episode. Like the more exploration of the Mandalorian culture, them discussing that. I like the action beats of it, him working with the other Mandalorians, the introduction of the Bo Katan character. I like the stinger at the end, the whole thing of like, him telling him to meet up with Ahsoka Tano. I think the handling of bringing in a character from the Clone Wars show into live action, I think worked well. I don't think it was too heavy-handed, too fan servicey. I thought that was fine.
There's no big exposition. There's no big exposition dumb like catching you up to this character. It's very much taken as, hey, here's this character from Clone Wars. If you watched that show, great. If you hadn't, still a cool introduction.
To all you people out here listening to this, hope you had a good time listening to this. Hey, check us out on all the good social medias, twitter.com/theafternoon-tune. We're on Facebook at The Afternoon Tune. If you want to send us an email, send in a question, comments, concerns, all that stuff, theafternoon-tune@gmail.com. If you're listening to this on YouTube, you already know what to do all that good stuff that supports us, that helps build up our content, the like, subscribe, the comment stuff, that always helps. Let us know what we did wrong, let us know what we did right. Chase, where do you want people to find you?
You can find me at Mr. Chayse Mac at Instagram or Twitter. Mr. MR Chayse CHAYSE Mac MAC.
All right, Nick.
All right, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Night and Day Nick.
All right, great. So to all you people out there, hope you love listening to this. Whatever time of day it is, hope you enjoy yourself. And don't forget to always
stay tuned. We'll get that eventually.
Yeah.